he's going to be happy and all that. But this dude, Fran Brown, basically said, I'm not paying any receiver $2 million. And I expected him almost to say, especially you.
Yeah.
Now, this kid almost had a 1,000-yard season. I think he caught, they were slinging it all over the place with McCord anyway.
Yeah, McCord led the nation in passing
McCord had
yards.
4,800 yards with 34 touchdowns.
He was their leading returning receiver, Pena was. That's what he was slotted to be.
And he carries the ball, too.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah.
He was a good player for them. So he did a lot
9 touchdowns, 84 catches.
He was productive. In that interview, too, and we just played a clip for you, he did say that he was going to get more money. They were willing to pay Pena more money this year, but the asking price was just absolutely ridiculous. One, it shines a light on how much respect everybody has around the sport for Jeremiah Smith as such, because the dude absolutely earned every single ounce of respect last year with what he did on the field. And two, both Josh Heupel and Fran Brown, here are two coaches that could have bent the knee. Because when you look at what Nico meant to that program, you're talking about your starting quarterback, and Fran Brown is looking at what would have been his number one receiver coming back for this year, and they both said, no, we're not getting pushed around. We are not getting pushed around. So there's some momentum out there, I think, for some of these coaches to really dig in. Because it would be easy, I think, to make decisions on guys and say, no, you can go elsewhere if this is a guy that wasn't a major contributor to your team. But both these coaches have done that. And to me, that's big-time respect right there, coming from two guys that looked at their roster and said, yeah, we're going to take a hit, but we're going to also stand up for ourselves as well.
I'm not leaning all the way into, okay, the tide's turned. Coaches are taking back their teams. These players are trying to leverage with timing and performance, and they think that we have a never-ending supply of cash that we can just pick up the phone, call that donor, and say, this player wants it. What can we do for you? What marketing stuff can we give you? We need another $1 million. Stroke a check. You'll love it. We'll put you in a suite. You'll be on the field pregame. The kid will sign a jersey for you. Like, what can we do? I think these players think, like, and they have reason to believe it's never ending at certain programs. Not Syracuse football.
And both programs were willing to pay up.
That's right.
They just weren't getting to what they believe is a ridiculous number. So they wanted to do right by these guys. They wanted them to be around.
But the kids walked. They didn't even say, okay.
But you know what's interesting is both Fran and Heupel are making it seem like they made the decision. That we said, no, you can leave.
Well, I think the narrative is that they're taking back their teams, but you're right. There may not even been a negotiation at the end because maybe there was no middle ground for them, or especially for the player.
Yep.
All right, we're going to come back, top of the hour, Sports Center update, and we'll talk about a draft pick going into the pros. And it's not about money. It's about a declaration letter. Will it make a difference? We'll read it to you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell furnaces instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Do you realize making the minimum monthly payments on your credit cards, it'll take nearly 20 years to pay them off? What if I told you there's a way for you to get them all paid off in just a matter of weeks? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Imagine wiping out all of your credit cards. Here's where you go. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending is the easy button for tapping in to hundreds of thousands of dollars in your home equity. That's not the bank money. It's your money. Listen, your home, the value is way up. step. And now AFLcash.com has a super fast, hassle-free program that lets you turn that equity into cash. People who do this are living their best life, their credit card debt free, with cash left over for other stuff like home improvements, maybe a vacation. See how much money you can get now. Go to AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Say goodbye to greedy credit card companies. That's AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I'm gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done and enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or at goodfeet.com.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, JOEQ. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Day baseball going on right now in Columbus and down in Cincinnati. Over at Huntington Park, the Clippers taking on the Louisville Bats. They're in the top of the 4th inning, and the Clippers have a 3-0 lead. Down in the Queen City, the Reds lead the Seattle Mariners 2-0. They're in the top of the 2nd in that one. Austin Hayes, a 2-run home run for the Reds. The Cleveland Guardians in Baltimore to play Game 3 of their series with the Orioles this evening. Tanner Bybee gets the start for Cleveland. First pitch set for 6:35. And the Blue Jackets wrap up their season tonight at Nationwide, hosting the New York Islanders. Pre-game here on The Fan begins at 6:30. Puck drop is at 7 over at Nationwide. This one's sponsored by RCD RV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, and Pataskala. And always online at rcdrv.com. Breaking sports news as it happens on The Fan.
Matty promises he'll continue to do the show even if he wins the lottery. If only we believed him. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, second hour of the program, Sam Brookhouse, Sumer Sports 130. Little insight on the NFL draft. Maddie, what just happened in the Reds game was very interesting. This is a study in science right now. Your boy Blake Dunn came in left field and dropped a foul ball.
Oh, no.
And
was it with 2 outs, too?
I believe so.
That's the kiss of death.
But he's 1-2 on Crawford, so we'll probably get out of it. But when this happens for a pitcher, it's always like, all right, free out. And now we get to see if Seattle takes advantage of it. Every time, I bet it hits about a 60% clip that when you drop a foul ball that you shouldn't, it leads to something. So we'll see if you're on the 40% side.
You know what other percentage I would love to find out when it comes to baseball is when a pitcher's 3-0, how many strikes that they throw. Because it seems like it's automatic. When pitchers get down 3-0, the next pitch is usually a strike. It feels that way to me. I know that it's not. I can get you an
answer on that soon.
I would love that percentage.
You want a toe, he can get you a toe with polish.
But yeah, Reds, little matinee action right now. My big cousin Austin Hayes hitting dingers down there. So we're good.
There you go. Infield pop.
Uh-oh.
No prop.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
This is
They just dropped another one.
Yeah,
I've never seen this.
Are you kidding me?
Santiago Espinal.
Okay, so let me describe this because we just did it on radio.
Rothman and Ice curse.
There was a infield pop in foul territory on the third base line.
Come on.
Catcher and third baseman.
Yeah.
Converge. You got it. No, you got it. And the ball falls between the two of them.
Well, there was a base runner in between them because Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah, but this was foul ball. There should have been nobody in their way.
I know, but it was close to the baseline, and he was rounding it off of third base.
He is a big fella.
So he ran right in between them. They both had to pause to let him clear out. And then they're both looking at each other.
That's what you're going to say at the press conference?
No.
Well, there was a guy rounding third.
I mean, look, nobody should be worried about Rowdy Tellez scoring.
Brady Singer's like, what are we doing?
Well, they just gave 2 free outs to a guy batting. He's batting what?
It's a 9-hole hitter. He's batting
200. So you should get out of this. But 2 foul balls dropped.
You usually don't get away
with not even
this.
Making an attempt.
Yeah.
You usually do not get right. I'm saying it's about 60% of the time you will pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll have to see the movie through now. I mean, the good news is you're up 2-0. Well, that's line foul. And now he's full count on the 9-hitter.
Did you see that umpire yesterday get smoked in the dome?
All right, here's the thing.
Drive?
Guys, why in the world aren't those guys wearing helmets?
Well, I feel like
wear the
yeah, but would you ever have asked that question if he didn't get hit? Like it's a one-off freak show type of thing.
Deep drive center field to the track.
Yeah, but that was terrifying. That was terrifying yesterday, seeing that guy get hit by a line.
Oh no, what I find interesting is why the coaches, first base and third base, are wearing helmets.
The umpires?
And not the umpires.
I don't know. But yeah, that was, who knows? But yeah, that was. Whew.
That's awful. And he wasn't right on top. He was what, behind the bag at first? Yeah. No, it's scary.
It really is.
And I listen, we hope he's okay. You never know you're out of the woods on those things until you are, because he did get hit in the head with a baseball.
Yeah.
The back of the head. And no, Matt, you're right. I don't want to play results, but what I'm saying is this may now
maybe so
put it forward like, okay, we played with it fire enough. Yeah. Ashton Jeanty, the great running back from Boise State, wrote a letter. Is this the new thing now, Maddie?
Hey, or I think this is a
declaration going into the pros.
Little Players Tribune action going on. Remember, we had that nice piece written by Jack Sawyer. I believe right before the playoffs started. They've been doing these for years. I think they've done a tremendous job with athletes getting together with some people or doing it with themselves. I don't know how exactly it works, but these are their words, their feelings. And yeah, Ashton Jeanty put out a nice little piece, and there's a little bit of the Will Howard vibe going on with this. And he says, I've taken the long way. I'm done with that way. If you pick me, it's simple. I'm coming to your franchise to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did. I'm coming to win big soon. It's tackle football, ... You know what I'm saying? I draft the guy they can't tackle. Thank you for your time, Ashton Jeanty. How you feel about that, big dog?
So if you're just drawing a line and saying, do you like it or do you not like it? I think you're always leaning until you like it. Like, I do like a guy with confidence. Quiet confidence, though. Like, I've seen the guy play. He's got all pro written all over him. But he is a running back, and he can't do it by himself. You think quarterbacks can't do it by themselves? Running backs really need it. Yeah. And so I like how he runs. He's a little dude. He runs low to the ground. And I don't even know what his 40 time was.
I did not see that this offseason. I know he had a pro day. I don't remember what his 40 time was, but when he mentioned I draft the guy they can't tackle, my mind went to, well, is that true? Is that true? And he's right, at least at the collegiate level, because last year he led all of FBS players in yards after contact. Almost 2,000 yards after contact he racked up. And he also set a new record for forced missed tackles with a $170. So that is a very, very real thing. And a big feather in his cap is that when he gets to a second level or he gets in front of one defender, he ain't getting brought down to the ground.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'll bring you back to the letter you just read. If you were a team that was on the fence or thought about him, is the letter impacting you?
Me personally, no. Like this type of
changing
stuff.
Are you reconsidering everything after reading that?
Not at all. Like, not at all. For me personally, I don't get caught up in guys doing talking, writing, tweeting, Instagramming. That's not the big picture stuff. The big picture stuff is everything you mentioned off the top and what we saw from this dude last year out there on the blue turf. And he was one of the best players in the country. He was a dominant force also inside of an offense that did not have a whole bunch of household names and playmakers around him. So the focus week in and week out for every defensive coordinator and every defender that he faced was to stop him, and you could not do it. That's the meat and potatoes of all this stuff. These guys now just live in a world where there's microphones, platforms everywhere for them to talk, and some of them like to talk, some of them don't. This, for me, if I were a GM, would not move me at all. I'm probably leaning to I actually like that this is how he's wired.
It's one of those things that if you're the Patriots, it feels a little too aggressive to draft him there. But the difference is he's not a running back that's going to slide. He probably won't. His name has been mentioned with Barry Sanders. He's good. A lot of high praise. He got close to the record. And most mock drafts that I've seen have him going inside the top 10, which means a team like New England would have to take him at 4 or trade down to make it happen somehow. And that feels aggressive to me. The league is cooling on running backs. The Derrick Henrys and the Saquon Barkleys, I don't think are just snapping this league into, okay, we got to find the next one. Maybe. I think the difference for him is that it isn't going to be whether Jerry Jones takes a chance on him and then that's it, or nobody else will. He's that guy. His message certainly will get teams excited who already love him. I don't think his letter will get a team to reconsider him if they don't have him there. So I can like it. I can understand that you can lean into it if you feel like he's your guy. But if I'm the Patriots, I feel like, boy, be a tough call to get him at 4. He is a difference maker. But
I'm with you on New
England. Right team, right time. It just doesn't feel like it.
I don't see that connection there. There's been a lot of Las Vegas Raiders stuff out there for him at 6. Seen a lot of Chicago Bears at 10. I'll tell you what scenario I would love to see come into play, but I don't think will, is that if he slides to either Miami at 13 or if the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock at 17 and his name is there and you've gone all in on offense already this offseason. Look, I want to reiterate, I think they should go heavy defense in the draft, but that temptation to pair him with the explosive offense that they already have, I would love to see what the Bengals would do in that situation.
Yeah. I think the first team you mentioned, I think the Raiders, I think Pete Carroll, I think that scheme, I think having a dynamic running back is what Pete Carroll's going to be all about. And I think, I'm not saying the value on running backs is gone. In fact, it's come back. It's bounced back a little bit. But I feel, and it's a deeper running back class, but I think he's a separator.
Seems like he's the head of the class.
Yeah.
After what Chicago has done this offseason, too, with bringing in a lot of reinforcements up front on that offensive line, trades, free agency, you drop him in there, that makes that pick, I think, hit right away. If
Maddie,
you put him in Chicago with what should be a
good.
much better offensive line.
That'd be, well, and then you kind of create some of what he had in Detroit with some
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, so you have a little
their new head coach.
But Carroll, knowing what he had in Marshawn Lynch all those years, and then feeling like he could grab another one here at that point.
And they need playmakers in Vegas. They do.
All right, speaking of draft picks, Joe Flacco is a Brown, but will he welcome a certain draft pick? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Feeling unsure about preparing your roof for spring storms? Newman Roofing is here for you. For over 30 years, we've helped homeowners understand their roof's condition so they can make the best decision for their home. Stop worrying and call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit NewmanRoofing.com today. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Montana, Bettis, Horning, and Brown, some of the greatest of all time, kicked off their careers in South Bend. You can celebrate Notre Dame football's impact on the professional game by visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton to experience Gold Helmet to Gold Jacket now through April 27th. And register to win our grand prize at 971thefan.com/Gold Jacket. One winner will receive 2 tickets to the Hall of Fame game, enshrinement ceremony, and the Hall of Fame Museum. That's 971thefan.com/Gold Jacket.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Kia. Lease a new 2025 Kia K4, just $195 a month plus taxes and fees. Or choose low 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new 2025 Kia Sportage or Sorrento. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
1.9% for 60 months equals $18.37 per 1,000 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 24-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents per mile over. 2025 due. Excludes $250 dock fee, $400 disposition fee at lease end. No security deposit. See dealer for details and 4/30/25.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here to let you know that Clayton Home's Go Big and Go Home sales event is going on now. Go big this year with a new, affordable, energy-efficient, modern manufactured home. Clayton Homes is changing the way homes are built, making them affordable to buy and cost less to live in. Every Clayton-built home uses quality products from the world's most trusted brands and comes equipped with energy-smart features for year-round comfort and a lifetime of savings. The craftsmen at Clayton build their homes in state-of-the-art facilities to protect your new home from the elements during construction. Clayton Homes and Freedom Homes are ready to help you find your dream home. They're here to help answer all of your questions, from floor plans to design features. Check out their fully furnished new home models and see all the options available to create the perfect home for you. For a limited time, you can save even more on select homes during Clayton Homes Go Big and Go Home sales event. Don't wait. This event ends April 30th. Visit the local Clayton Homes near you or browse their limited time deals at gobigandgohomesale.com.
Sometimes you don't realize something was bothering you
until it's gone.
That's how you're going to feel
after we work our magic at your house.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
All of our local shows have been ranked in the top 10 in the country by our industry peers, except for Timmy Hall and the Buckeye Show. I was going to make a joke about it, but it's more sad than anything. Poor Timmy, the Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles.
I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens of your latest forecast. We're looking at more nice weather this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine and getting up into the mid to upper 60s. A small chance for a few showers passes through this evening and tonight. Most stay dry. Temperatures down into the low 50s. Up near 80 for a high Friday with plenty of sunshine before storm chances return this weekend. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The best teams don't always win titles. Sounds like AR and Maddie bragging about their fantasy teams.
Hey, that's cheating!
This is Rothman and Ice.
Week away from the draft. I'm starting to get fairly convinced that the loose cannon Steelers are going to move up.
Moving on up.
They're going to have to find a way
to the east side.
That's right.
To get up.
The deluxe apartment in the sky. How about that?
I'm fairly impressed.
You didn't think I know the Jefferson's theme song?
I like that. So you think they're busting a move, AR? How high do you think they're going?
As high as it takes to make sure they get Shedeur.
Okay.
So that would have to be, or if they don't, 8. Or the other way they could play this is if they know they have to get a quarterback, but don't want to spend to get that high, they could wait to see if he passes the Saints. And then who is picking 8?
That would be Carolina.
I think a lot of mocks have them taking T-Mac from Arizona.
Yeah, Tedero McMillan. Because to your point, AR, if, let's say, New Orleans, they stay on the clock. They pass on Shedeur if he does slide. From 10 on down to them, find me a team that needs a quarterback. Now, you can make cases for, I believe, a team like Seattle, because is Sam Darnold really your long-term answer?
But what about the teams, Maddie, that... All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I was going to say that teams that want to come back in.
I know he's going to bring up the Rams. He loves this idea of the Rams taking a quarterback.
I think they just need it, baby, chat. Now, they may look at it opposite of what I'm saying, that we have Stafford for another year or two. They have a really good roster right now. Let's get a right-now player to help him. Forget the long-term stuff. They've been the Blankton picks team anyway, so they may be looking at it that way. But if I'm Sean McVay, that's the plan that I would like. But they may say, you know what, we push our chips in, first-round pick, defensive player that's a stud, offensive player that's a stud that can help us in the blink of an eye. Let's do that. But once you get past Chicago, who really needs a right-now quarterback?
They may not have to.
Yeah.
It may be 8 or nothing. So I was reading this thing, because this is where I'm going to be very wrong on this, according to an insider. So the Panthers GM, Dan Morgan, admitted that Carolina would be open to trading back from the 8 pick. Okay. And that the Saints, we feel, are a fairly decent lock to take Shedeur. Can we all just be in that camp?
I'm 100% with you, because this Derek Carr stuff just is, it's odd.
So 8's the number you got to get to. And so a lot of Steeler fans have suggested, and I just suggested, that the Steelers leapfrog New Orleans. And insider Jerry Dulac, where's the Winnebago, slammed the door shut on the move, just slapped me in the face and said, quote, not happening.
What a 5 fingers say to the face?
Yeah. The Finger Lakes. During Wednesday's Steelers chat on the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Jerry, as I say, Fondulac, was asked what the odds were that Steelers would consider trading up for Shedeur Sanders. Quote, zip. He's not for them.
Where's the conviction coming from?
They are not going to reach for him, were the answers.
Okay.
Now, Fond du Lac had previously reported several accurate pieces of behind-the-scenes Steelers info. So he does have a pretty good track record, such as the dude that McAfee's interviewing, Aaron Rodgers, about the meeting in Pittsburgh. He was all over it. So now, every piece of this stuff, take it with a grain of salt until it's confirmed. But I think guys like me who think it could happen and fans that are hoping it happens, he's saying, scratch it, don't get your hopes up.
That's a weird way to put it. He's not for them. Is that something like he's got a big personality and, the Steelers just don't do that thing?
It's a great follow-up question that the presser you just asked.
Yeah,
it's a great follow-up.
They don't do that thing, but, Antonio Brown
we don't
and
do
some
that
others.
around here.
No. They got big personalities right now in their locker room.
Other teams do it.
At left receiver and right receiver.
Exactly. You got two of them.
Kidding me?
You got a history of doing it. So he's putting to bed the trading up possibility.
That's right. Not that they won't take him.
If he's
necessarily they won't reach
to
for
get him. Because I think if he's there, I would do it.
This is why. Let me explain why I'm saying what I'm saying. If they like him enough at 21 as a quarterback, that's a pretty good investment. That means your first pick is going to be your quarterback of the future. So if you're going to take him at 21, if he's there, I don't view him as just a, quote, value pick. I think they'd really have to believe that he's their future at quarterback, and he may be. In that type of a system, being accurate and a leader, putting the ball where it needs to be, coachable, all that stuff, and you don't have to put everything on the quarterback, then why wouldn't you say, we got to make sure we get him? And we can't take a chance that somebody, the Giants, the Browns, somebody coming back in would get ahead of us at 21 and steal our guy.
I still happen to believe that Aaron Rodgers will be the starting quarterback come week 1 for
That's
Pittsburgh.
fine.
That's
but
my
that
belief.
That doesn't change anything about their future.
That's my belief, and I think they're going to spend that 21st pick on a player to help out a 40-year-old quarterback in a roster that they probably believe isn't far off from actually contending based off of what they got from that roster that's not as good as it is now because they did have DK Metcalf, and it fell apart. They probably think, we get Rodgers in here, safe floor. Let's spend that 21st pick on offensive lineman, defensive lineman, another wide receiver. Who knows? That's just what my gut is telling me, especially after I saw Rodgers and DK Metcalf working out together and UCLA. So I'm not really thinking about the future right now because I don't think where the Steelers roster is. It's a bit of an aging roster. The headline names, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, those guys. I think you can continue to go that way.
All right, let me see if this changes your mind.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers just spoke to McAfee. And they asked him about playing and all that. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Quote, I'm open to anything and attached to nothing. Retirement could still be a possibility. No decision.
Okay.
The beautiful mystery. The ayahuasca enthusiast, or however they label him.
Yeah.
If I'm pronouncing that right.
I think you are.
Ayahuasca?
Okay. Ayahuasca, yeah.
Well, it should be ayahuasca.
Where the weed at?
Exactly.
Oh, man. Where's that drop?
Where the weed at?
There it is.
I'm all over it. So, does that change your opinion that he's going to be the guy week 1 in the Steel City?
No, because I don't trust anything the man says, and I think he's got a wink-wink going on with him. Then I'm on my way. Well, you know where I stood on this. I've always been that there's something with the compensatory stuff that if they get him after the draft, it pays better for the Steelers to do it.
Yeah, but that's a lot of trust that you got to put in him.
If
you have that agreement that isn't contractual and that affects how you draft, and then after the fact, banking on him feeling the same way then, especially how the past few off seasons have gone with him, you really want to have him impact your draft and hope that 1 month later he feels the exact same way?
So do you find him annoying or intriguing?
No. I don't think he's doing anything wrong. I think he's...
As a Steeler fan I'm talking about. You find him intriguing?
Intriguing, yes. But that is because the bar is really, really low. I don't think he's as good as everybody else does. Like, Jets fans convinced themselves that they were getting an Aaron Rodgers from 10 to 15 years ago. I'm not going to be fooled into that, but my other option is Mason Rudolph. I want the team to be bad at some point because we got to hit a reset button at some point. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I got to balance my short term with my long term, and I don't know if I can handle watching Mason Rudolph take snaps every single Sunday. Like, that's going to drive me too crazy.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
Well, that might be your way to,
I know,
a bad record.
But I'm going to be pulling hair out every Monday on this show.
And I don't think that the guys in that locker room, AR, they're not going to want to see Mason Rudolph out there every single week. That's not it if I'm DK. Well, I didn't sign a $100 million deal if I'm DK Metcalf to come play with Mason Rudolph. Like, if I'm TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, back into my career, that's not the move, you know?
Well, it does sound like Rodgers is just playing this right out of the Brett Favre handbook. Yeah. I might retire. I might not. I don't want to. I want to keep playing. I feel I have a little more. I don't know. I know a lot of people just retire already.
But I don't find him annoying for that,
talk unless you've got something to say.
I don't find him annoying for that, though, because the dude is over 40 years old. Like, he's the oldest player in the league. So I kind of get it.
He's an OG for sure, but as far as, like, the football stuff goes, man, like, there's not a better option out there than Pittsburgh. It's really not. Like, that has to be really attractive to him. But what you're saying is real because maybe he's just done. Maybe he's done. But if he's in the mindset of playing, which I think he is, like, you got to get on over to Pittsburgh and get active because there's some really good playmakers ready to go right now.
We'll come back with Sam Bruckhouse, Matty of Sumer Sports. I'll run that theory by him, whether the Steelers can stay and get Shedeur. And is it worth him anyway at that point? You know, does he feel that high on him like Mel Kiper does? That's in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text EDGE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text EDGE to 42424. That's EDGE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony's hidden talent is weaving a movie quote into every conversation. It's mostly not annoying. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, love talking to our friend Sam Bruckhouse, Sumer Sports. Kind of get into the draft and the theory of things and the analytics of it all, and he's with us now on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fangast Hotline. Sam, welcome back.
Thank y'all for having me. I'm excited to talk the draft. This is one of the most exciting drafts because, frankly, I have no idea what's going to happen.
No, the guesswork is the most fun about it. So I came out last segment, and I was like, if the Steelers really like Shedeur Sanders, they have to ask themselves one question. Will he be there at 21? And if they don't think he will, then they got to ask themselves the other question, which is how much do we really like him? And if we really think he's the future of the franchise, then we got to get up, past the Saints at 9. We got to get on the phone to Carolina. We got to get to 8. And so I'll ask it that way. Do you feel the Steelers can wait and still get Shedeur at 21? Would he be the right pick for them? Or do they have to be very aggressive to get him?
So there's a couple elements to that. The first I want to call out is that Steelers waiting game. And I think there's a lot of teams playing this waiting game. I think, interestingly, in this draft, there are more teams who are betting not on their evaluation of Shedeur Sanders, but rather on the availability at any given pick of Shedeur Sanders. I think that's what the Browns are going to do it too. I'd bet right now they'd go Travis Hunter and wait to see if Shedeur could drop to 33 to them. I think the Steelers in particular are another team that might wait. You mentioned them at 21. And then finally, the Saints have a need at quarterback. Recent, articles by Nick Underhill. I'm originally from Louisiana. He's very influential. I grew up reading him. He seems to indicate that he doesn't think the Saints are going to go Shedeur Sanders at 9, but that's another team that could potentially be in the mix. So I think it's going to be a big waiting game. And the second portion is, in data, there's this thing that we like to call in the draft the quarterback prediction problem. We're not very good at figuring out which quarterback is going to be the best quarterback in the class. It seems like the Titans have made the decision that that's going to be Cam Ward. And so as a result, I think all these teams are looking at themselves and saying, it may not be worth spending this pick, given guys like Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe should be available later on in round 2.
We were reacting earlier to Ashton Jeanty and, the letter he wrote out there on the Players Tribune to NFL GMs and saying, look, I'm the guy. If you want a guy that doesn't get tackled, I'm your dude. When you look at some potential landing spots for Ashton Jeanty, what is the best or a couple of your top favorite spots for him, and how high do you think he could go?
I think he could probably go as high as the Raiders. Pete Carroll loved having that physical team. They addressed the quarterback position, and I could see them being interested in a tailback like Jeanty. Also, I think the best fit for him is the Chicago Bears. Can you imagine Ben Johnson moving on from Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery to borderline Pro Bowls to getting his running back pretty much immediately upon being hired after loading up on that offensive line? Here's the thing, though. The running back position is what we like to call a non-premium position. That means their contract values are quite depressed as compared to quarterbacks, wide receivers, tackles, edge rushers. As a result, when you select a running back in the first round, he basically has to be a top 5, top 10 tailback year one immediately in order for you to get your money's worth. And in particular in this draft, you talk about guys like Omarion Hampton, Cameron Scatterbo, even looking all the way down the line, Trevor Etienne, Brashard Smith. We have a bunch of great data on all of these guys on SumerSports.com on our draft guide, and they're all excellent. This is a very, very, very deep running back class. And so as a data scientist, I'd caution general managers from taking a running back that high and maybe try to wait until the second, third, even fourth or fifth rounds. I think you may be able to get a productive back.
Sam Brookhouse with us, Sumer Sports here on Rothman and Ice. All right, so let's try to predict where this thing could really turn, because it almost feels now, Sam, that the top 3 picks are going to be quarterback, then best player. Could the Giants throw a curveball to this draft? I mean, John Mara, the owner, has said from the start of the offseason, number one priority, find a franchise passer of the future. Well, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston don't fit that, but it might be enough to kind of pacify him to say, okay, let's grab Abdul Carter there, and we'll worry about quarterback later because it's not a very, a touted quarterback draft. Would the Giants throw a curveball there at 3, or do you think they'll take best available being Abdul Carter?
Yeah, I'm here bringing all this research. Here's a pretty easy piece of research. Here's the head coaches that have given up on Russell Wilson and on Jameis Winston. Sean Payton has given up on both of them. Pete Carroll has given up on Russell Wilson. Mike Tomlin has given up on Russell Wilson. And Kevin Stefanski has given up on Jameis Winston. All of those guys are Coach of the Year candidates perennially, Super Bowl winning coaches as well. That's not a good sign for your franchise. The Giants are the true wild card here, especially given they went and made another late visit to Shedeur Sanders in Colorado recently as this week. And I think they've been kind of the wild card this whole time. I did kind of a mock draft trying to encapsulate the pressure that the Giants front office must be feeling to address the quarterback position before free agency, before they added Wilson and Winston. And I could have seen them trading up and trying to get ahead of a team like the Browns in order to get the quarterback that they want. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. I think they'd probably be better off trading back, playing that same availability game that I think the Browns are going to try to play as well. But at the same time, if you're sitting at 3 and Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders is on the board, Travis Hunter could come in and be one of the best players, but no one's going to be there to give him the ball. And I think that's the toughest decision, especially given the ownership front office relationship right now.
Let's talk a little bit about these wide receivers, specifically Teteroa McMillan from Arizona, and what you think of Emeka Egbuka, because it seems like Travis Hunter is the guy, and he's going to go first as that wide receiver / defensive back. But the other 2 wide receivers that I mentioned, McMillan and Emeka Egbuka, what are your thoughts on them?
So my thoughts more generally about this wide receiver class is that I don't know, including Travis Hunter, if any of these guys are going to be a Justin Jefferson or a Jamar Chase. I think they can be an excellent number 2 wide receiver. I think Tet McMillan, for example, a lot of people are comping him to Mike Evans. I see him more as a T. Higgins type player, a complementary player to a wide receiver 1. I think Travis Hunter, particularly if he ends up in the Giants' hands, would end up being a great complementary player at the wide receiver position in specific, alongside Malik Neighbors. And I think that's kind of the profile on Emeka Egbuka as well. Here's a guy who can do it all. He can block. He can play in every position. He's played as a top receiver. He's played alongside guys like Jeremiah Smith and other elite wide receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think that if he ends up on a team from that Shanahan tree, I'm talking the Rams, the Packers, even maybe the 49ers, he's just going to be an impact player because he knows what it takes to succeed. Don't know if he has the ceiling to be the best wide receiver on the team, but he can be a certified wide receiver 2 who can do the little things and succeed in an amazingly coached system.
One of our favorites, Sam Brookhouse, Sumer Sports. Always great to have these conversations, my man. You know we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Thanks. He was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fangast hotline. All right, quick tidbit here about Aaron Rodgers and his appearance on McAfee. Because I had predicted the other day, Maddie had asked me, like, okay, what do you think he'd play for? I'm like, a lot less than what the guys of a 4-time NFL MVP would command.
Yeah.
And so I was guessing like $25 million. Like, that seems low for him to ask, but high for who he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Reportedly, he just said he'd be willing to play for $10 million. So that's pretty amazing. He said he has told teams that he would play if he does. Not sure if I want to, but if I did, I'd play for $10 million. So that's pretty interesting because now you become, we don't really follow the money as much. And he'd also be putting himself in a position of, I've got to perform. I know I'm willing to prove it. You give me a chance to win that job, I play for $10 million. He loves Kevin O'Connell. They're buddies. Brian Daboll he likes. Like, what if the Giants decided to take Abdul Carter at 3, but they get Aaron Rodgers? Because what just happened now changes it a little bit for me if he is willing to play for backup money, high-end backup money.
I think, though, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, if the Minnesota Vikings call me and they're serious, that's the only team that I would think about going to outside of Pittsburgh. I don't think the Giants are there yet for where he is in age and wanting to obviously do a lot of good things in the postseason. And so no doubt that changes things. But to me, it's still Pittsburgh Steelers and a big if the Minnesota Vikings want to do business, then I will go there. But I think they want to see what they're going to get from J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's the best one out there. That's right. Unless he wants to go to the NFC version in New York and try to make that sing there. But that's very interesting to me because I always thought that whoever pays him has to play him because of the money. It wouldn't make sense. But a team now, he could go to a couple teams even if they did draft a quarterback. And he'd be fine.
$10 million is what the Vikings paid Sam Darnold last year.
That's right.
Yeah, 1 for 10.
I wonder if he came up with that number on purpose. to basically say.
You guys just did it last year. Do it again.
Boy, that's interesting to me that he just said that. I didn't think he'd even...
He doesn't have a lot of leverage either.
No, but I didn't think he'd even talk money. I think he'd be... Because when I asked Schefter, about money, he's like, money's not involved. And Schefter was right. Yeah. Doesn't sound like money's going to be what holds anything up with Aaron Rodgers, if he wants to play. All right, we'll come back with the Buckeye Bulletin. And the former Buckeye, Kyle McCord, went to visit Mr. Gruden. How'd that turn out? And what did he have to say about his exit from Ohio State? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle and Market District. Find everyday savings and bargains on produce, meat, and more. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting long-term lower prices. With our weekly sales, deals for days promotions, and My Perks loyalty program, Giant Eagle helps make the most out of every shopping trip. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle and Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Before you start your day, UDF has already started making your breakfast right in our bakery. We've got buttery, flaky croissants baked before the crack of dawn. We're making fluffy buttermilk biscuits from scratch by the time the sun starts to think about rising. And before you hit your first alarm, we've piled our biscuits and croissants high with sausage, egg, and cheese right in store. So come in and grab a fresh one and let us make you a morning person. Fresh baked breakfast sandwiches from United Dairy Farmers. UDF, mornings made for you.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, Call 800-452-6262. That's 800-452-6262. Again, that's 800-452-6262.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, what a wild journey it's been at quarterback for Ohio State. You know, with Kyle McCord having his moment at Notre Dame when he was playing for Ohio State. Can't ever take that away from him. Spent a few seasons with the Buckeyes, transferred to Syracuse spring of last year. And then he plays one season. And Maddie, he finishes in the top 10 of career records list there. One season. Most total offensive yards per game, passing yards per game, pass efficiency, completion percentage, all that. Touchdowns, all. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Donovan McNabb played quarterback there.
Crazy the way they were slinging it around.
Oh, yeah.
360 yards a game.
It really is pretty wild to think that this dude, and after what we saw, look, he was fine here at Ohio State. He was fine. But if you would have told me coming out of that season that he would go on, no matter where he would go, to lead the nation in passing yards, I'd have said, I ain't buying that. And that's exactly what the dude did. So credit to him, because he definitely became more of a household name with being in the same conversation as far as statistics go with some of the guys that are going to get drafted in the first round with Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, and Shedeur Sanders. And a guy a lot of people were like this year that was in the top 5 as well. And Garrett Nussmeier, who I know you like down there at LSU. Mm-hmm. So that's the company he was in last year and led all those guys.
He was very good coming out of high school. He was a 5-star kid. He was a 3-time state championship dude. Dad played quarterback at Rutgers. Kid's been around the game for a long time. And he went down to sit with the one and only John Gruden. Tell you what, man. This guy, Kyle McCord, could do it all. And here he is. And let's hear the first one on what he felt when Ohio State won it all.
Now this guy, he comes in. I got to ask you this: Will Howard? He was in here the other day. Yeah. He's a hell of a guy too. do you look at the Buckeyes thinking, son of a bitch?
No, I was happy for them. I think it worked out for me going to Syracuse, and obviously worked out for them. So I think it was one of those rare instances where both parties benefited from it.
All righty then.
I thought you told me to bleep it.
I did. That's the point.
Seemed like
it was a half bleep.
Oh, I know. I told you. I said I'm bleeping as little of this as possible.
I was going to say the bleep
was what happened. Bleep was a little late. It was like the ball was snapped and then
we got the bit.
Then you moved.
Yeah, we got the point.
Hey, sometimes the left tackle moves first and they don't call it.
They don't call it.
That happens all the time.
What they call that loose cannon.
Especially if your name is Jawan Taylor.
Playing both sides.
Jawan Taylor.
Oh yeah, I bleeped it. Oh, you wanted the bleep to actually cover the word. Oh, I thought you just throw a bleep it anywhere. Here he is on the end of the Notre Dame game in South Bend.
Did you know they had 10 guys on the field?
I felt like there was just an open gap there, and I looked back to the sideline, and I kind of pointed to it. You don't want to make a big scene, have them see that they're missing a guy.
You noticed it, though, right?
Yeah, the luck wasn't with the
So what was the play call here?
This is just 13 cab.
What a hell of a win, though, man. What are you saying here? Hey.
I mean, you know how those Notre Dame
What are you saying there?
Boosters are. They're letting us hear it all game.
Come on, what are you saying there?
No, I don't know if I can repeat.
Come on, man. Let me feel a little Kyle McCord. What are you saying there?
I was probably just telling them to, go the home, beat the traffic. Then no Notre Dame fan is from Indiana. They got flights to catch to go back home and stuff like that. So
I love it.
See, I love that Gruden pressed him a little bit on that.
Well,
because
he's now Barstool guy, so yeah, he's.
But just the fact that he got that out of them, out of him, because a lot of athletes would have,
I probably was saying something like,
"Get the blank out of here." And that's probably exactly what he said.
Of course it was.
And I love when guys are authentic like that because that's who they truly are. And I get it. They got to represent the brand and represent their families and all that. But when you're out there on the field, that's the type of trash talk that's happening. But that is absolutely a huge moment for him and probably what made him attractive not only to Syracuse, but other programs around the land as well. And so it was a scenario to where for both parties, it worked out for Ohio State and for Kyle. Obviously, Ohio State won the ultimate prize with winning the national championship, but the brand that is Kyle McCord does look a lot more appealing than what it did a couple of years ago because he put in the work, and he and his boy Fran Brown over there were doing some pretty good things for a basketball program for the most part. And last year, they were having some fun doing the football stuff because of Kyle McCord.
Yeah, he can play the win-win card because it turned out that way.
Yeah.
You know, would he have liked to have led Ohio State to a national title? Yeah. But coaches didn't believe that he was the right guy or worth the money or whatever it was. There was a gamble going out and getting Will Howard, getting a brand new quarterback because Kyle McCord had been here. There was some seasoning there that you could have built upon. So it did work out for everyone. Here he is on kind of digging into that, like why they didn't keep investing in you.
65%. You throw for 3,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 6 picks. That's you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I do my history. That's the 7th most yards in the history of Ohio State.
Yeah.
In your first year. And you're 12-1.
Yeah.
And you lost the game really on a couple interceptions that one of them was a receiver got across face. The other one you get planted in the ground.
Yeah.
What happened now?
Well, that's it. He didn't have an answer for it. He just kind of is like affirming it. Like, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, he dodged that one.
I think there's something in there, though, because then eventually they got into the Missouri, and again, he had a bad answer when he was kind of trying to dodge the transfer topic a little bit. But you can kind of hear him like going, yep, that happened. Yep.
All the numbers that Gruden laid out are real, but that wasn't the end-all, be-all for Coach Day. He wanted more. And Will was going to provide that for him as far as the versatility and what you could get from your quarterback. And we saw that on full display for the majority of the regular season. He was very, very good, and then he, to me, was great in the college football playoff. And when you have that threat at quarterback and one more thing that a defense has to worry about, you can completely understand why Coach Day would identify that skill set and want that. Not that Kyle was bad or a terrible quarterback in his mind, but he knew the roster that he had coming back, and he wanted to make sure that cherry on top was a quarterback that could get busy with his legs and be a threat down in the red zone, which Will brought to the table.
That's it, right. And the other part of it, maybe from McCord's standpoint, is that he maybe felt like he wanted a little more investment guarantee. And I'm not just talking about money, just kind of, I'm your guy. We're going to lean into this. And I want to feel that way. And they were like, no, we're keeping our options open. And so did he. And that's where it is. That's today's Buckeye Bulletin. All right, we're going to come back with a deep dive. And we'll kind of let's get into I know we talked about earlier, let's get into the Flacco situation and what he wants to do, what he feels Cleveland needs to do, and would he welcome a quarterback pick here high? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Let me feel a little Kyle McCord.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
When your sump pump is no longer sumping and pumping, please don't become a sump pump grump.
A sump pump grump thinks whacking the pump will make it start working again.
But it never does.
Get Eco.
ECO. A sump pump grump will let a faulty sump pump completely ruin a perfectly good day.
Fortunately, I've invented a solution.
No more sump pump grump?
No more sump pump grump.
Get Eco.
ECO. Tell me about it, Jerry.
The solution is that you get Eco to do a sump pump inspection.
What would that include?
We check your pump, your battery backup, and all the downspouts and drains along the way to make sure everything is running clear.
How much?
That's up to you, Aaron.
Jerry, Eco would be happy to do that for just $89.
That's a great price.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
So we bought an actual shopping mall and put one of the largest Honda dealerships in the world inside of it. Hi, it's Steve Lindsay with Lindsay Honda. So it's big. We house about 150 to 200 cars indoors, lit, all unlocked, ready for you to be able to view and see. A fully tempered climate. Doesn't matter if it's raining outside, 10 below zero, super hot. There's real trees inside, and it's just a casual environment. And if you haven't seen it, it's really a cool story, not about its opulence. It's just a cool story to see what was a dilapidated old mall being reinvigorated into a pillar in the community that everybody benefits from.
This month at Lindsay Honda, choose a 2025 Honda Ridgeline RTL, Honda HR-V or CR-V, and pay just $299 a month at our famous Lindsay Honda Trade-A-Thon. We'll trade for anything and give you $1,000 more for your vehicle all month long. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
And the top overall pick in this year's draft is the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. That's right, it's number one in my heart. This is Scotty Vegas, and we're hosting a special draft show and watch party starting at 7 p.m. Thursday, April 24th for the first round of the draft. Watch and place wagers on the picks with over 30 kiosks, contests, prizes, and a live show at 7 at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. The Blue Jackets' playoff hopes, well, they were dashed last night. Unfortunately, the Montreal Canadiens beat the Carolina Hurricanes. So tonight, the Jackets will be playing their final game of the season over at Nationwide. They're hosting the New York Islanders at 7. Jack Williams makes his NHL debut. He goes into the lineup for a banged-up Zach Aston Reese. Jet Greaves gets the start in net. Pre-game coverage here on The Fan gets underway at 6:30. Over on ESPN Columbus right now, the Cincinnati Reds trail the Seattle Mariners 4-2 as they head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Over at Huntington Park, they're heading to the 7th inning. The Clippers trail the Louisville Bats 5-4. The Cleveland Guardians take on the Baltimore Orioles tonight, 6:35 first pitch in Baltimore. This one's sponsored by Whiskey War from High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for A Deeper Dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. We'll do a little NBA, Cavs pre, all that stuff with our friend Keith Smith. NBA front office show, bottom of the hour, 2:30. Boy, these aging quarterbacks, man, they're in trend, are they not? Like, I never thought I'd be talking about as many 38, 40-year-old pro quarterbacks. And it's a tribute to them. They can still do it. They can hold off. I mean, you didn't think they could hold off a 21-year-old or 22-year-old quarterback coming right out of college, but they've done it. And Joseph Vincent Flacco has done that, and he's going to be a Brown again. And it gives them a high floor. It gives them some stability with Stefanski. And it's going to be one of those things where we'll see how healthy he can stay. He's kind of responded a little bit to Kenny Pickett, kind of ahead of in the quarterback competition, that he didn't think that there's any real expectation of exactly who's going to be the starting quarterback. I don't know about that. I mean, I think that a 40-year-old guy isn't there to kind of back it up. I think he knows that he's got the experience and he's got the success rate that Pickett doesn't have. So it should probably be Flacco's job to lose.
And he's got the success within this system with this coach, too. You know, so that's a great place to start when you're Joe, is the familiarity is there with knowing what Kevin Stefanski does as a play caller, where the pieces move post-snap within this offense. So to me, he is a step ahead with that, and I think he's just a better quarterback right now than Kenny Pickett is.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he did not play great in those games against the Colts, and it could be he could be a mentor for Pickett. He's 26 years old, and he could sit as well behind him and kind of mentor him. So he was asked, this was up in Cleveland?
Yeah, this was 92-3 up in the lane. Yeah.
All right, so they had Joe Flacco on, and they kind of tried to dig in on whether he would embrace that role.
What do you think of when you hear the term mentor?
I think it's just like a term that people like to throw around and things like that. I don't think people truly understand like what the quarterback room is all about and how that works. I do think it's important for young quarterbacks to be able to learn. You don't want to put a young quarterback in a football game before he's actually ready, because you know, there's just so many things in the cycle in this league these days is just so quick. You want these guys to be ready, and I do think there's huge advantages to being able to sit back and make sure you get and gain that confidence and really learn the game and get the team surrounded in a good way so that you can go out there and have success. And I think that stuff happens naturally through like competition in different rooms, and you know, like, the more competition you have and the more people you have competing, the more conversations come up and the more people learn. I think that's true in not just in sports, but in every environment. You want good people in a room together that can push each other, and then you'll get the most out of everybody.
It's a pretty good answer. It's an experienced answer that he didn't want to go down the road of, listen, this is my last chance. I'm 40 years old. I'm not the head coach. I'm not I'm the quarterback coach. I'm not grooming guys. We're all in the pros. We're all trying to compete. He could have gone down that road, but he didn't. And I think he gave a kind of a classy answer there. I think he knows who he's got behind him, and that dude's got to have some scars still from his early time in the NFL. Kenny Pickett. Protection issues, nervous feet, not seeing everything, and all that. So I think that Flacco knows that he can do both. He can lead this team and mentor Kenny Pickett in a way where they're pushing each other. He seems like that kind of a guy. To me, he does. Flacco does. He seems like the kind of guy that is a team guy, but he also knows that he may have to be the leader.
You know, it's interesting, excuse me, because we've seen different examples of this mentorship or lack thereof around the league. Because a few years ago, Ryan Tannehill was on record saying, it's not my job to be a mentor when they drafted Malik Willis. So not everybody's cut from that cloth. Not everybody's not all warm and cozy when you know the reason why this kid is here is to eventually push me out of the door. And that could be a tough pill to swallow. I get that as a competitor. But if you're Flacco, your career has a year or two left, 3 years left on it at max. in the NFL. And so I think you're welcoming this. At Tannehill's, at that point in his career, he's looking, hey, man, I still got a lot of years left in the league. So that hits differently. What I thought happened last year in Cleveland when they had the Hard Knocks in season version on the AFC North was you could see Jameis did a good job of that as well. When Stefanski came to him and said, we're moving on, and he hopped on that mentor train right away for, I believe it was DTR right after that, and did a good job. So it's absolutely what you would want inside of your quarterback room, and maybe that situation will present itself this year for Flacco and Kenny Pickett to be a mentor for a Jackson Dart or a Jalen Milroe with, that chemistry that's already there with Tommy Reese and Jalen Milroe with their time at Bama. And so I think that room will be in good hands. Flacco's a guy that can absolutely handle that and go out on the field and be pretty productive for you as well.
Yeah, I think you said it right. I think that Flacco, to me, doesn't have the insecurity about this situation. So he doesn't have to have that attitude toward it, that he's got a job to do and I'm focused on my own thing and that's it. He can play both sides of this. He knows the head coach very well. They've had success together. He knows what he needs out of him. And I also think it's easier to play I can be a good mentor when I already know I am the starter. Like I don't feel like he's that worried that it would go the other way. And the other part about this is the Andrew Berry factor, which is where will they go with the number 2 pick? It doesn't feel to me that Flacco or Pickett or anybody should be that worried that they would do something weird at 2 now and grab Shedeur Sanders. I don't think that's happening. And in a weird way, Andrew Berry, and when he comped, and you'll hear it next, when he comped Travis Hunter today to a certain player, athlete in sports, Matty, he's either showing his cards full or he's got the biggest bluff going. Here it is.
So I think one of the things that is like you can't probably fully appreciate until you actually see Travis play live is just his elite conditioning. Like, going out and seeing him play at Colorado, he really never comes off the field. And it's unbelievable because, like, there are more plays in a college game than there is a pro game. And it's like the guy, like, he barely pants like that, like that type of thing. So it's quite incredible. That being said, what he would attempt to do has not, been really done in our league. But we wouldn't necessarily put a cap or a governor in terms of like what he could do. We would want to be smart in terms of how we started him out. I think I've mentioned before, we would see his first home as receiver and his second home, on the defense side of the ball. He has a number of rare qualities, but probably the rarest is his ability with the ball, his ball skills. And, we would want to put him in a position that maximizes that ability.
There should be a soundbite about him mentioning a certain guy. He compared him to Shohei Ohtani. Mm-hmm. And that immediately got my mind going, wow, like you brought up the example, like the one of one, the 3-time MVP in Major League Baseball about being a pitcher and a hitter. I think it's too big of a reach. I've said that on the air. I don't think I think what Shohei does is even more unicornish than anything a football player could do playing receiver and DB. That's just my opinion. I feel like it's pretty apparent to me that either he's taking Travis Hunter or this is the biggest bluff job ever.
Yeah, I think the lean is towards Travis Hunter, and what he mentioned about his conditioning is so real because you look at last year and Travis played 84.6% of the team's total snaps a year ago. Like, that takes so much work in the offseason, your diet, yada, 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 all those type of things. And so if he mentioned Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if he was referencing, like, he's got that ceiling to be the best player in the whole league. But if it's just kind of the surface level, both guys play on both sides of the ball, I understand that. I completely understand that because that's just what it is. And I think Travis will be very effective at both. And again, on record, you have Andrew Berry now in the press conference this morning and the press conference he held at Indy at the Combine saying that we would view him first as a wide receiver. So that will be the plan for him is to, he's going to play defense every once in a while, but they think that the dude, we need to get the pigskin in his hand because he can help us out a lot on that side.
It's not going to be a full-time offensive and defensive player in the NFL. All right, let's hear that.
I think it's, and I'm going to use a crossboard now, it's a little bit like Ohtani, right, where when he's playing one side, he's an outstanding player. If he's a pitcher or he's a hitter, he's an outstanding player. You obviously get a unicorn if you use them both ways. If that's the big deal. All right, thanks, Chester. Because I wanted to hear him say that because he is the betting favorite to be picked by the Browns. It's a fairly overwhelming favorite.
We've heard Travis Hunter say that what he does is more impressive than Shohei Ohtani.
That we have, and which
is false.
Right, to his own opinion, that's fine, but I think it's a drastic difference. But he is the only guy that's capable of doing it.
And the physical demand on Travis's side is much higher. It is, for what he puts his body through. So that, I understand where he's coming from just because of that component.
All right, we'll come back, and a former quarterback names his number one quarterback in the class. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay. You could get paid up to 2 days faster and there's no cost. So stop playing the waiting game. Make the switch today at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
Join your Reds as we honor the Hit King on Wednesday, May 14th for Pete Rose Night. All fans in attendance will receive a Pete Rose replica jersey of the road uniform worn by Pete when the Big Red Machine celebrated back-to-back World Series championships. No one was prouder to wear Cincinnati across their chest than Pete Rose. Be a part of this special night honoring the legendary Charlie Hustle. Get your tickets now at Reds.com/Pete.
Come into your local AAA Car Care Plus location this month and buy 3 select tires, you'll get the 4th tire free, plus a free alignment. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets, Jim.
Up things are down, down things are up.
Sounds like things
You don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh, yeah. Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, 3-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, 2-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Join now.
Help DEA keep our community safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 26th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at deatakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's deatakeback.com.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A nice afternoon, plenty of sunshine, mid to upper 60s. We'll see a small rain chance this evening into tonight, but most stay dry, low 50s. Windy conditions Friday, more sunshine and very warm. We'll be up in the upper 70s to low 80s by the afternoon. We'll track a return to rain, though, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday looks to be the rainier of the two, with dry weather Sunday afternoon. That's your latest day weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Bet365 time.
Yes, sir, brother, because at Bet365, ladies and gentlemen, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. If you're a new customer, you want to hear this. Listen very closely because they've got an amazing deal for you. You bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. So make sure you're downloading the Bet365 app. Today, I'm looking at a little boost they got over there today. 3-leg parlay, 3 of the best hitters in all of baseball. Jose Ramirez, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. This is a boosted 3-legged parlay that originally was plus 1,590. That's now plus 1,896. So give me the boosted 3-legged parlay, all 3 of those hitters, Jose Ramirez, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, plus 1,896.
To all get
It's 1 RBI apiece.
Oh, they all have to get an RBI.
Soto, right. Judge, and Jose.
So if you so that's playing out to be about, what is that, 20-1 almost?
Yes.
So, all right. So the implied odds of that happening are about 5%. But 100 of your soft earned dollars today would bring back about 2G.
There we go.
Not that you're putting that on it. I am leaning into the Jackets tonight. A lot of teams, when they get eliminated, it's just they're so deflated. There's nothing to play for. But I do feel like being at home and trying to keep the winning streak alive and playing big in front of Jet and having him finish the season the right way. Hockey's a loser's bet. I put that disclaimer out there at the beginning, but I do it anyway. And I'm going to lean into it. I got it this morning. Jackets laying a goal and a half at plus 180. If I add my fun little sweetener that I sprinkle on there all the time, which is both teams not to score in the first 10 minutes, I can get it up to plus 200. Okay. So I'll probably bet it both ways.
Yeah.
And I just feel like you never really truly know, but the fact that Sorokin's not going to be in the net for the Islanders, I feel like the Jackets either lose tonight or they win by 3. Like I'm just not anticipating a fight to the finish, late third period, tie game. That just doesn't what it feels like to me, because it's an exhibition game in a way, because everyone's exhaled after what happened last night. I still think they'll play hard. I think the message will be to play hard. but I'm going to lay the goal and a half and lean all the way in here at the end.
Okay, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Again, just a reminder to download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, draft day is a week away. So how do we celebrate here, Maddie? With another mock. It is very difficult, as the first three picks now are becoming almost crazy locks. Like, it's weird how it's almost guaranteed this is going to go Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. And then things might get a little odd at 4 with the Pats, because do they go linemen? Do they trade out? How far does Mason Graham, is he going to get past Jacksonville? How many O-linemen go in the top 10? Will we get a tight end in the top 10? Will Tyler Warren go? That would be interesting. And then you get some guys on the edge. And then the Jeanty factor. Will he get past the Raiders and get to the Bears? What will the Saints do at 9? Will Shedeur drop? Well, it all comes back to Dan Orlovsky talking about his top quarterback in this draft and whether it is indeed the guy that will go number 1.
Yeah, clear number 1 for me is Cam Ward. And I would tell you this. So I've got my notes right in front of me, Ross. Obviously, like every year, watch every snap. I think the number one thing that surprised me about Cam was he was so much better inside of the pocket than outside of the pocket, and or that I had anticipated. I had known he was a little bit of a creative player and maybe some wow plays outside of the pocket, but that was so much less of kind of what the tape showed. And so, like, I really like love this part about his game. Number 1, he doesn't get fooled often. He's a really like smart guy with how he sees the way the field is playing out. I think the ball jumps out of his hands. Everyone's catchphrase word for that is twitchy, but the ball just jumps out of his hands and it happens quick.
And that's credit to the Ross Tucker podcast. He joined him on his pod there, and Ross joined us out there in Nollins this year at the Super Bowl. Good dude, man. Knows the game. Not surprising. He's with everybody. He's with everybody that Cam's the guy. But what he's saying is very important, because Cam does have that gunslinger, things get out of control every once in a while, narrative around him. But that's the job. More times than not is hanging in there, letting your playmakers do the work on the outside and delivering consistently. And he's that guy. I mean, his touchdown to interception ratio this year was crazy. It was 39-7. And that's just what you get when you talk about Cam Ward and his arm talent, which is very good. And it's not only just the standing in there, it's the kind of the off-platform stuff you get from him, some sidearm stuff. Like he can get very creative with his throwing ability and get that thing into different windows, which is obviously what's making him such a intriguing prospect and probably the slam dunk number 1 pick next week.
Stefanski.
There he is.
It'd be great if somehow
he came to Cleveland.
Yes, not happening, but I think on this show he will always be Stefanski now.
Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll. You won't get me either because I'm going number 1. Unless you want to trade up. But I think New York's going to trade up and get ahead of the Steelers and get your boy Shedeur Sanders.
Really?
Why not? Why wouldn't they trade back in? Why couldn't they go to 20 and clip you guys by a spot?
No, they could. A lot of people with their mocks are having the Broncos at 20 fall in love with Amarion Hampton, which I would love if they took him, because I would be terrified of him being available going to Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. I've had enough after Najee Harris. I don't need to draft another running back in the first round. So if somebody else could prevent us from making that mistake, that's cool.
Help,
but
right.
It's a
Save
lot
you from yourself.
Exactly. Wow. It's a lot of mockers out there who are putting Amarion Hampton at 20 to Denver. Not that they wouldn't trade out of that if the Giants wanted to come back up.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I'm worried about you guys staying at 21 if you want Shedeur. That's all I'm saying. We'll have Ray Fittipaldo on tomorrow. Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Mm-hmm. Not Jerry Fondulak, because he'll slap me down.
You got to stop saying that, because people are going to think that's really his name.
City in Wisconsin.
Jerry Dulac, right. You can't tell me that guy hasn't gone through his life with the nickname of Fondue.
At some point in time.
That's what Matt, if he worked here, that's sorry.
Hey, fondue.
Yeah. Fondue, man.
Oh, man.
All right. There's Orlovsky's take on it. You believe it? You buying that he's a clear? I feel like, yes, the ceiling's there, but I don't think...
In a class that's not very strong, yeah, I'll buy that he's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy that he's the guy. I don't believe that this class will do what we got last year and have the majority of the first-round picks looking pretty darn good when they were out there, and one of them looked great in Jaden Daniels. I don't think that, but Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, those three guys look pretty darn good last year when they got to play a bulk of the games. And so the one that we just don't know about is J.J. McCarthy. But if J.J. hits the ground running, that could go down as one of the best all-time quarterback classes that we've seen in a long time. Now, we're years away from really stamping that. But the way that they looked out of the gate, strong class, man. Yeah. Really is.
And if you just joined us, the update we have from Aaron Rodgers is there is no update. He spoke, but he said something fairly important, that he would play for pretty much high-end backup money, that he's not going to leverage a team for, hey, I'm the 4-time NFL MVP, pay me like that.
What's his career earnings? Where's he at?
There's plenty.
Aaron Rodgers. I love playing this game. I love this game.
Career earnings for Aaron?
We got to turn this into a segment somehow. Because
the kids call that pocket watching.
You know what? I'm all for it.
And there's a segment name right there.
It's motivating. I've got him at, take a guess, baby Chet. Aaron Rodgers' career earnings to this point.
Well, you got to factor in that the contracts now are a lot higher than they used to be. Even so, somewhere in the neighborhood of 300.
You're pretty close.
Okay, good. As long as I'm not embarrassingly off.
$380 million.
Hey, yo. And then off the field.
No wonder he doesn't know whether he cares to play football anymore.
Oh, man. Play quarterback and play baseball, kids.
He doesn't even have to buy his own health insurance. Yep. All right. We will come back with our friend Keith Smith. Everyone is talking about how stacked the West is, but what's the difference between the Celts and the Cavs going into the playoffs? We'll ask him next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Trailing Burks.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Montana, Bettis, Horning, and Brown, some of the greatest of all time, kicked off their careers in South Bend. You can celebrate Notre Dame football's impact on the professional game by visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton to experience Gold Helmet to Gold Jacket now through April 27th. And register to win our grand prize at 971thefan.com/goldjacket. One winner will receive 2 tickets to the Hall of Fame game, enshrinement ceremony, and the Hall of Fame Museum. That's 971thefan.com/goldjacket.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
These two have a ton in common. Anthony loves hockey, and Matty's always cold. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it. All right, we've waited long enough. Get the NBA playoffs going. I mean, the Cavs treated us to one hell of a regular season. But now it counts, for real, and they've earned the right to have it all come through Cleveland. And our friend Keith Smith, NBA front office show and Spotrac with us on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Keith, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so how do you handicap this between the Celtics and the Cavs? The East is pretty much straightforward. I think we kind of know that. And give me kind of your take on whether or not Cleveland has what it takes to get them over 7.
Yeah, I think they do. I think it's pretty even, provided both teams get there relatively healthy. That's been kind of the story of the playoffs the last few years is one team, or not, seems to get there, and then a key guy is either already injured or they're dealing with something, and things just are going a little sideways on them. So we'll see if they both get there healthy. I think it's a pretty even series. I think it'll probably be a long series. We'll see if Cleveland can solve some of the defensive issues they've had at times against guarding Boston, and then we'll see if Boston can control Donovan Mitchell, who they've had no answer for over the last several games these teams have played.
Keith, when you look at the Cavs season and the leap that they took, getting the 64 wins and the 1 seed in the East, what's one of the biggest reasons why, or a couple reasons why, you think they were able to take this leap?
Yeah, I think the big thing of their regular season success is it's a really well-built roster that has really good, solid depth. You don't get to 60-plus wins in the regular season unless you have 9, 10 guys that you feel really comfortable playing. And the Cavs went through some injury periods like most teams did, and they didn't miss a beat because they've got really good, solid depth. And that stands out. They feel comfortable, I think, at just about any moment in time saying, all right, we're going to go to, one of the guys in our top 9, 10 in our rotation, and we're just going to play them because we trust them that much. And that's a huge comfort for a coach. Normally when we get to the playoffs, rotations shrink a little bit. But I think Cleveland's going to keep doing what they need to do until, they are kind of forced to have to change it.
All right, so outside of the Celtics, though, can somebody else kind of playing a little bit on house money kind of give the Cavs a run for their money? Could Indiana, could somebody just step up, and if the Cavs overlook them, they could get bit?
Yeah, I think we could see maybe the Pacers or the Bucks in the second round push the Cavs. I think Indiana, the way they play, where they really like to space the floor out, they like to push pace, and they want to play pretty fast. I think they're an interesting stylistic matchup for Cleveland because we know the Cavs they want to play with their 2 bigs. They don't want to have to put one of them on the bench in the key moments, and that's going to be something that we'll keep an eye on if they meet them. And then the Bucks, with the news that broke today that Damian Lillard is now cleared to start ramping up, if he can return and the Bucks can get through that first round, I mean, I would still favor Cleveland pretty heavily, but it's Giannis and it's Dame, and those 2 guys can almost win a game or 2 by themselves, and then all of a sudden you're in a series maybe you didn't expect to be in. So I think they could push them, but I would still favor Cleveland to beat either one of those teams. It would take either an injury or a major upset for them not to get there.
Let's go out to the West Coast and lock in on LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers. I'll never forget where I was, Keith, when I found out that Luka was traded to the Lakers, and now here they are, and there's some believers out there that they could go on a deep postseason run. When you look at J.J. Redick in year 1 as a rookie head coach and where that roster is now led by LeBron and Luka, what are your thoughts on what the Lakers could do?
Yeah, I think they're set up to make a run. It's an interesting matchup with Minnesota, who's one of the bigger teams in the league. The Lakers play. The Lakers, it's weird. They play small in terms of the traditional size, but then at the other positions, the guard positions, the wings, they're absolutely huge. So they're just kind of a pretty interchangeable group there. I think the big question is going to be who's going to defend Anthony Edwards? Can they keep control of him? And then on the other side, are they going to be able to attack Minnesota's front group and really make them work off the dribble to defend Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves? And Austin Reeves, I think if he is the one of the better players in this series, the Lakers have a really good shot to go through. If it's Luka and LeBron having to carry a lot, and Julius Randle steps up, or somebody else from Minnesota steps up, it's probably going to be a long series. I think it'll be a lot more defensive than people maybe think, because when you think Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, you think about points, and the same thing with Anthony Edwards. And then the last thing I'll say in that series, too, is the benches. Minnesota's bench is better than the Lakers' bench, and they need to outplay them by a wide margin. Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo are better than anybody the Lakers are coming with off their bench, and they need to be some of the better players in this series to give themselves a chance.
Keith, have you heard any type of justifiable reason from the people in Dallas as to why they made that move to trade Luka Doncic to LA?
I mean, no, nothing I agree with or even sometimes even believe. They believe their press conference they did the other day, which was a little weird and bizarre. I think they repeated no less than about 7 or 8 times, we believe defense wins championships. And what's funny about that is you're in the NBA Finals a year ago. So, like, I'm not entirely sure, where they were trying to go with this, and some of the slander stuff that's came out about Luka over the last, a month or two since they made the trade, I think is really, quite frankly, kind of ridiculous. And them trying to win people over who are never going to be won over. It's still one of the more mind-boggling trades, and it's one, I don't understand today any better than I really understand, and I don't know that we'll ever really understand fully why they made that deal.
So just to get maybe a little more specific, you're not buying the narrative of his lack of commitment to conditioning and his work ethic in that way regarding like diet and conditioning.
I think there's some truth in that, and I also don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy's one of the best players in the world. It doesn't really matter too much to me. And if they're saying, well, he could be even better if he cared about being in better shape, yeah, that's probably true. But how much better does he need to be? He got them to the finals last year. When you kind of start the season and you're looking and you're saying, all right, I'm not going to predict injuries, so let me write down who the top 5-10 players are in the league. He's going to be one of the first names you come to on your list. And I just don't know that, Dallas's things ring fully true. I think there's truth in them, but I don't know that that's any reason you would ever trade Luka Doncic at this point in his career, when it's also been made extremely clear he had no interest in ever leaving the Mavericks. Like, you don't trade superstar players like that unless you believe that they're going. And if you do that, you have to get a better return than the one Dallas got.
Yeah, you're right. There was a theory that he was going to leave them in limbo a little bit, not sign the Supermax, and that he was the flight risk. And the other thing that people were throwing out, that they didn't want to pay him, that, $68 million a year was, a lot of people think that'd be a steal for him, but they just didn't feel they were going to get what they paid for. I don't know. It's tough to buy. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. It is tough to buy. I mean, they've made it clear that they didn't feel like they could give him the Supermax contract, which was going to average $70 million or so a season, 35% of the salary cap, and they didn't feel like they could give him that and then get what they needed to get out of that. Now, I would argue, again, you got to the NBA Finals. Only 6-8 months before you traded him, you were playing in the finals. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me there. And if anybody who saw his reaction at the tribute game where they played his tribute, it was painfully obvious Luka had no interest in ever leaving Dallas.
Golden State, they make the trade for Jimmy Butler, and they've been making a lot of noise since then. We know they've got championship DNA, head coach Steve Kerr, Draymond, Steph, we get that. But now with the addition of Jimmy Butler, guy that's had postseason experience, as you know, Keith, when you look at where Golden State is at the moment, them taking on the Rockets and their playoff outlook, how deep of a run could they potentially make?
Yeah, absolutely. Completely remade their season with that trade. Just unbelievable what they were able to do with getting Jimmy Butler in there. Everything just kind of fell into place. They were so reliant on Stephen Curry to kind of generate everything offensively. And not that Steph's not still great, but at this point in his career, he needs somebody else, just one other guy who can put his head down, go to the basket, draw a foul, get a bucket. And that's what Jimmy Butler's given them. And then I've seen all over the place, people are picking them to beat the Rockets. I think that's probably the most popular upset pick in the first round. We'll see. The Rockets play really good defense. They had a big game against the Warriors fairly recently, but if the Warriors beat the Rockets, I don't know that anybody would be all that surprised. And, then we might be looking at a Warriors-Lakers second-round matchup, which I'm sure the NBA would absolutely be in love with.
Keith, who do you got in the final?
I've got Boston and Oklahoma City. That was my preseason pick. I'm going to stick with it. I don't feel a real need to change off that. I think the Celtics kind of they did what a lot of teams do after they won a title. I've grown very fond of saying you don't climb Mount Everest, come down and say, you know what, let's go right back up. You work back up to it. You gear up to get ready. And Oklahoma City has been so good this year. I think we all want to see it, right? We don't believe it in the NBA until a team does it, but they've been so good this year that I think they've absolutely earned the right to kind of say, hey, this is where we are, and believe in us, and off we go.
Well done, my man. We'll be tracking it. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate your time and insight.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, bud. NBA front office show. Keith Smith, Spotrac as well. On the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Those are the two favorites, Matty, Boston and OKC.
Yep. If
you take them right now as a combo parlay just to get to the finals, it's only plus 164. It's plus money, but those are the overwhelming favorites right now.
I love what OKC brings, but AR, as you know, they're still young. And you still have the Jimmy Butler Steph combo, LeBron Luka combo, Jokic in that championship DNA. I would not be surprised if they got clipped before they got to the finals,
and under,
because they still got to go through that the way Boston did for years to get to that point.
Matty, you remember me saying during the March Madness run, and I picked them, and I said, I'm wondering when the youth of Duke could show itself.
Yep.
Young coach, talented freshman, and you get to the Final Four, and now it's real. Getting to the Final Four, you had talent out the you-know-what to get to the Final Four. Once you got there, and they blow the lead.
It's different.
All right, we'll come back, tell the truth next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's going to audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Can I get Mega Millions?
Good choice. Mega Millions is bigger than ever. Jackpots now start at $50 million and grow faster.
Sounds mega.
And now, every game has a built-in multiplier, so all non-jackpot prizes are multiplied between 2 and 10 times.
Bigger prizes, better odds, and just $5? Give me 2.
Mega Millions is bigger and better than ever. Get your tickets today at your local Ohio lottery retailer. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. April's a great time to spruce up around your house, like getting rid of those old, ugly, drafty, hard-to-open windows and starting fresh, especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. There's no limit to how much you could save, and if you buy a house full of windows, they'll include a free entry door, too. Plus, with 0% financing, 0 down, and no monthly payments, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. How do they do it? Well, Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation to build windows to their high-quality specs. Then they pass the savings on to you. You'll protect your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Hurry, the sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the Buy 4, Get 4 free and pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. One more time, that's Buy 4, Get 4 free from Window Nation, 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done, enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or at goodfeet.com.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. For all your window needs, visit windownation.com.
All right, time for a little Tell the Truth. Baby Chet, take us home.
All right. Did you guys have any sort of positive reaction when you found out that Lee Corso was retiring? Tell the truth.
I'd be
positive
lying.
in what way? What do you mean positive?
I left
like
it,
we were happy about it?
I left it open-ended because I had a feeling. You see, I haven't been doing the show very long, but I already know that the wording with this stuff can get pretty specific. You can get hung up on a particular word. Open-ended.
We do that.
Any sort of net positive.
I'd be lying if I acted like I didn't care about it. It's not the end of the world to me, but for me growing up, that was such a big part of my college football experience was Lee Corso on game day with the headgear, the not so fast my friends, like all that. Like it was part of the reason why I loved Saturday mornings was him on that set. So yeah, it felt like to me, AR, they were phasing him out a bit for the last couple of years with the addition of McAfee and what he brings and kind of that comedic relief and energy that Lee always brought for years. Now McAfee will be that guy for a long time, it seems like. But no, Lee was amazing for what he did for that show and what he did for the sport. So for me, a lot of respect. That's really the only thing I think of when I think of Lee Corso was good times and him providing a positive outlook on the game.
Listen, I looked at Lee Corso like you look at an aging athlete. You know, I feel like he probably hung on a little bit too long, and it would get a little bit awkward for people watching because we cared about him, and there was a sympathetic feel to that. You hope he gets through it. Can he still bring the same insight that he brought before? Like you said, with the not so fast, he had his drop phrases and all that. He had his catchphrases, and he's the guy that almost 30 years ago was the first guy to put the damn Brutus head on. And I would be actually shocked if he's doing one more game and that's not Ohio State, Texas. I'd be shocked because it has the ability to bookend his college game day career for almost 30 years with the same mascot head. He's worked side by side with Herb Street. They've become incredibly close. Herbie's kind of shepherded him through these last few years. He's kind of been his on-set producer in a way, helping him through things, or if he gets stuck or stumbles. They started using him more of a caricature of himself, like a real live human mascot at times. And I think he's probably better than that. And I think it was time. So when you ask that positive effect, the positive is that he made college game day a lot of what it is for a lot of years. And then it kind of ran its course. And then he hung on, and they try to keep him right in his wheelhouse, not with the picking of games, but not a lot of analysis that would come with the pick. And they have him up there with the celebrity picker, and he has fun. And he's got kind of a safety net with Herbie. I guess the one thing I'd say, it's time. And I'm glad he's getting what a lot of people don't get in this business, which is to go out on your own terms. And he's actually getting that at almost 90 years of age. That is unheard of type stuff, unless he was a play-by-play guy, which he's not. So it's going to be cool. And like I said, I'll be blown away. I know there are other games to choose from, but I can't imagine they wouldn't pick a top 5. Texas, Ohio State. You first put Brutus Buckeye in your head in 1996, and now the last run you can bookend it.
And that, my boy, is the damn truth.
Did the picture of Bryce Underwood's gut make you doubt his potential success at Michigan? Tell the truth.
So I'm going to tell the truth that I didn't think it was real. Is it real?
It sure looks real.
No, I know, but it looks real. Is it?
And it's in video.
Okay.
There's a video of Bryce Underwood reaching up and catching a pass one-handed, and when he reaches up, he's got the jersey tucked like Zeke used to do.
Oh, man.
And when he reaches up to go one-handed, and he kind of has to lean back a little bit because the momentum of the ball is carrying him back a little bit. It's you're like, huh? You're like, this is the guy, this is the quarterback who was doing backflips in a football uniform pregame in high school.
How much is he getting paid?
Man.
So I first saw it, and I thought, this is classic internet stuff. This can't be real. First of all, anybody taking a still picture looking in the camera is going to suck it in, certainly, if it is that bad. Especially, and why would he wear a crop top with a belly like that? Like this, I just don't, I don't know how to buy this. I really don't. You're telling me that the high percentage of this, that it's absolutely real, that everything I see with my eyes is true?
I said it on the radio, so it must be true.
But I know, but I'm asking you what you believe.
Yeah, I believe it's real.
Yeah, I've pulled up a couple pictures, and it looks pretty real.
I mean, the edits of him like holding KFC buckets isn't real.
Why would he wear the jersey like that if that's really the case? This can't be right, guys.
And even if it is
can't
right,
be true.
It's April. He'll get right. The nutritionist will get him right. I listen, I don't know.
Is it a bad angle, Matty? It
might be a bad angle.
Did the camera catch him at a wrong time?
I don't know.
Because I'm telling you this right now, I'm not buying it.
Okay.
Remember the picture of Jameis from his pre-draft workout? He still went number 1.
No doubt. Hey, you know what else is number 1? It should be number 1 is our podcast. And you can catch it wherever you get your podcast by typing in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod. Bet365 is the exclusive sports betting sponsor of the Rothman and Ice podcast. Timmy Hall in with Common Man today. Don't move. They are next.
We'll come back tomorrow at high noon on a Friday. Join us then. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Chevrolet, Central Ohio's #1 Chevy dealer. Lease a new 25 Chevy Trax, $139 a month, or a new 2025 Silverado, just $288 a month at all 5 Coughlin Chevy locations and CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Trax is a 36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing. Silverado is a 24-month lease with $49.99 due. Both plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/25.
If you're like most Americans, you've racked up tens of thousands in credit card debt. You're stuck with 20% interest fees, and even the monthly payments, well, they're hard to make. It's insane. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. The good news is that there is a way out. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending. They specialize in fast, easy access to the equity in your home. Most homeowners have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their home equity. That's your money. AFLcash.com can get it out for you with zero junk fees and zero hassle. You can pay off all those credit cards in just a matter of days. Pay off your car loans too. Cut your monthly expenses by $800 or even $900. I'm telling you, the relief you need, well, it's right there at your fingertips. AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Break out of the credit card debt prison with AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things people love.